How you doing, guys?
Hey, Yankee.
Doing great. Good evening. Should I guess what that is in the corner?
You can guess. Go ahead. What do you think that is?
No, I don't want to.
Well, I'll give you a hint. That's the top of somebody's head,
Ah,
and those are fingers. That's all I'm going to show. That's all I'm going to show. But Chase, seriously, a month to get this proof, Silver Eagle.
yeah.
That's crazy. I think.
Well, yeah, you know what I can say about that real quick though
Yeah.
is I don't know if you've heard, but there's a new general at the U.S. Mint that's been appointed. He's going through all the different steps of the process to be appointed, and I think he's going to do an amazing job once he gets there. So I think
Okay.
you're going to see a lot of things at the U.S. Mint turn around. It's something
Mm-hmm.
that we're very excited about at SD Bullion. So we'll see. But
All I know is that SC Bullion doesn't take anywhere near that long to ship your stuff, so it's
no,
a lot faster.
remember last time somebody asked a question of why it takes us so long to ship or something, and I did a test order the very next day with my own money, everything. I just placed a credit card order in the morning,
And
and it was shipped by the afternoon. So I don't know.
wow. And
I
that's not
shared that
because
with
you're the
you. I took
CEO.
it personal. I took it no, I didn't tell anybody it was my order. They don't. It doesn't work like that. I took
Stealthy.
it personal, and so I went out and placed a test order, and
Hmm.
we had it shipped within 5 hours of ordering the product. So I don't know if that's not fast enough. I guess order Domino's or something. I don't know.
Well, we got to jump in on this because we've got to get through our segments. We got
Yeah.
to get people to be able to ask questions. I think we should start with our first segment, markets and macro. And James, President Trump has spoken. He stated on Truth Social, Swiss gold tariffs are off. And I think it's kind of hilarious how, they came out, the White House, and said it's misinformation. Just wait. Just wait. And I'm like, this is what I'm asking. I'm going to ask you, James. Was it intentional? I mean, did they let this out maybe as a trial balloon to see what would happen? Or did the administration just screw up with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection?
Yeah, when it comes to these types of things, the Occam's razor is generally to bet on the stupidity as being the reason. So bet on someone, being asinine in the way that they made a ruling. And James Forkin from the U.S. Customs, a guy who literally spends his day job taxing tennis shoes, misruled that this Swiss Pemp Swiss Gold Bar was going to get taxed 39%. And that article was published, I'm guessing, on the customs website,
Mm-hmm.
July 31st, 2025. So it had been sitting there for almost a month and a half. And my question is, how did the FT reporter get fed it? Because I bet she didn't find it herself. And if you figured out who fed it to her, I'm guessing you could figure out then who really got over on the swing trade. Because that massive gap between futures and spot that happened because of the reporting of that. It was obviously very large for anyone who went levered long in comics for that short time frame. So that's just one way that the markets can get manipulated either up and or down. That being my point is that these markets are pretty easy to move. All you got to do is get misreporting. And look, if you look at that FT report, it came out Thursday evening, and by the next morning, every financial media was just parakeeting the story, and nobody knew the facts. And if you went and read the letter, it was gobbledygook and really hard to understand when you actually went on their website and read the letter. But ultimately, the point at the bottom of the letter was, yeah, you're going to get taxed these rates, and then you go down the rabbit hole, and the taxes were precipitously much higher than they could ever be in the market. The gold market works on basis points. It doesn't work on massive margins of 40% over spot. That wouldn't work. So it just didn't make a whole lot of sense, but the market didn't care, and it went crazy because of it.
Well, we're going to ask you more details on this because I really want to peel this back. A lot of people are confused, but before I get there, I just want to tell you, Chase, you and Cole did a phenomenal job with that up-to-the-minute video on the SD Bullion YouTube site. When the news first broke, you were there, bang, so fast, the two of you, and you were breaking it down. It was really good. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
And James, your weekly Friday video, I think you called this whole thing a clownish price discovery and a joke.
Well, it just shows you that all it takes is misinformation to get published by the right outfits. and it moves markets. I mean, you have traders there in the futures market thinking all the gold sitting in the United States is going to have to be marked precipitously higher, because in order to get new gold, you're going to be paying a massive tariff if you average it out. And it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, Swiss gold is more than half of the world's newly refined and recycled gold. And tariffing, and it would be shooting yourself in the foot. As far as a country in the future, the United States is going to be starved for bullion. It doesn't make any sense.
What would that have done to premiums?
Yeah.
Eventually, it just wouldn't look. To even go through that mental exercise is kind of stupid, because the entire premise is stupid. It really is. I mean,
So I'm stupid to ask that question. No,
it's
what would have
there's no
happened if they had
there's
done
no
this?
stupid questions, but there are stupid policies, and that would be
Yes,
a really stupid policy, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
if you have a situation where you can't get new gold, then all you have is the gold on shore, and everything would have to be marked up, along down the chain. So you're talking about the large gold bars down to the investment grade, smaller size pieces on inventory shelves, and obviously it would spill over into silver likely too at some point. So yeah, it would have been a real problem in terms of pricing.
Chase, would you have absorbed this, or can you absorb it, or would have just been passed on?
Yeah, it would have been. He passed on. It's not like we would have passed it on. It would have cost us more to get the gold. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're having a little mic issue there.
Okay.
But yeah, you would have had to pass it on. Like any bullion dealer, anybody dealing with the physical would have had to do the same thing if this had gone through.
Yeah.
Right, but think about it. Like, if you can't buy Swiss gold because it's priced much higher, then where do you have to go? Right? Like, where other you'd have to be buying from places we don't like, apparently, like Russia, China, South Africa, and those are like the major refineries. There's only so many refineries in the world, and it would have been bottlenecked, so it would have been a real problem.
Well, the Swiss were pretty quick to clarify. Is my mic better, Yankee? The Swiss was pretty quick to clarify that this would have impacted everyone, because that was my first question. Is like, well, I guess all the gold's going to come in from the Canadian mint then at that point, but. Yeah, luckily it looks like this is just going to be a flash in the pan, because it would have really been ugly for retail investors if they would everybody, but that's who we deal with and who we try to serve. It would have not been fun. You would have saw premiums spike back up to like they did during COVID times, and yeah, and that's not the dealers doing that. That's literally the cost of getting physical in a market like that.
I have an email that I want to share with you, and maybe gets into something else that we witnessed and confused not only me, but other people. This is just one email from someone. It said, this is from Rick. The subject was COMEX. Gentlemen, wondering why we have nearly $150 difference between gold spot and COMEX futures. Asking, as all of you have more sources than I, plus I've not seen a spread like this. Thank you, Rick. I'm not sure if we've never seen a spread like this, but what did that spread indicate?
James, you want to tackle that from
It indicated the thinking in terms of people who are trading futures markets of, okay, December is the front month contract, so that's 6 months out. By the time that comes around, these tariffs, if it does stick, that's the price kind of recalibrating higher, because basically all the gold that's sitting in underlying COMEX warehouses becomes precipitously more expensive, because in order to replace it, what are you replacing it with? Swiss gold at spot plus 40 is not going to work, so where are you getting it?
Yeah. The way that I like to explain it, Yankees, there's the price of gold that you see on the the trading, and then there's the price of gold in the vault. Right. And in times like this, and that's what I explained on the video, is like, if this tariff stays, what ends up happening is, once all the gold on the shelf, if all the dealers and wholesalers, all the network is sold out, which would happen eventually, the price to go back and replace that physical inventory is the gap is going to be pretty strong. And that's where you start. And that's basically what the traders are seeing too. So they're willing to pay more for physical, quote unquote, now, because they know the price of physical is going to go up in the future had something like this actually stayed on, which apparently it's not going to, but we'll see how it all shakes out.
The thing I think that frustrates stackers, at least it frustrates me a little, is that we see like all-time record highs with paper gold, right? And then like next to no change with the spot price, with the physical, it seems. And then, the rumor fizzles, and both the paper and the precious metal spot price get slammed. I mean, right now, what are we looking at for a price? I'm looking at gold. I should bring this up so people can see. Here's the week. You can see what gold did, right? A little bit up, boom. But look at the futures. The futures were like, I mean, it was all-time record highs. We were like, what, 35? Did it break 35? 35, yeah, 35, just over 35 back on August 7th. And then, but why? Why does it hardly go to the upside and then just get yanked down? Same thing with silver, too. Silver also. Just a little bit up and then gets ripped down.
Well, I mean, the spot price is derived out of London, right? And so it's two different markets. London doesn't have the tariff issue, the scare that we were having, and therefore the bifurcation occurred. It's since shrunk down. It's down to like $50 between December COMEX and spot now. But it got to $120 on Thursday going into Sunday. So, that's the main thing is like basically spot silver and spot gold is a mainly London derived price. And it uses futures in it. It uses the front month futures as well to kind of come up with that number. But no one has ever given me a full, clear explanation of what the actual percentages are. I've never seen anyone in the world. It's like that's the problem, is the opacity of the London market. They're just so opaque about everything. It just screams the fact that that it's an artificial price. It's really one of these prices that you get no explanation over, really. So it's frustrating.
It is frustrating for us. I mean, we're not experts in what's going on in London and in our COMEX, but we see this type of reaction. We thought, wow, look at the futures. When this was first announced, and overnight, we're like, oh my word, look at what the futures. And then spot price was flat. It was, wait, what? And I began to scratch my head thinking, did they not think this is going to stick? Is this something that they doubt? Like Trump has done before? I mean, is there some expectation that this isn't going to hold? And so it didn't.
On Saturday, I was just looking on my Twitter and I saw Bloomberg, rush to put out a chart on whatever news they were reporting, saying with like a graph, it says on the top of the graph, it says roughly 300 billion of gold changes hands every day. And then it shows about half of it going through London, about a third of it going through the COMEX, about a sixth of it going through Shanghai Futures Exchange, and then about 1/10 going through other venues, right? But the absolute ridiculousness of the chart is the line. Roughly 300 billion of gold changes hands every day. Yeah. All right. No, gold doesn't change anybody's hands.
It's impossible.
No.
It's literally this levered digital proxy that sits on an account somewhere, and there's people trading it all day and night. But like actual changing of hands is nothing. If you actually crunch the numbers, new supply gold every day in the world, and recycled gold averages like 2.1 billion in a trading day, right? 2.1 billion, and you have leverage of 300 billion trading, right? So that's the problem, is that mainstream media, they just put out things like this, and people who read that, they think, oh yeah, so everything's fine, everything's normal. This is not normal, and they don't understand how the actual market works.
All right, let's turn our attention to Russia and Ukraine. So there's an Alaskan meeting that is being scheduled between Trump and Putin. I'm not sure Zelensky's going to be there. It's questionable. Is this a big factor with precious metals? Is what we saw today maybe the start of a gold and silver price correction due to hopeful geopolitical tensions easing and maybe a resolution to this war? Is that going to factor in?
In the short term, it could. I mean, you have a situation where the gold price is 12% above its 200-day. The 200-day moving average of gold is 3,018 as of August 8th. So it's going precipitously higher. But even in a bull market from 2000 to 2011, or you could look back in the 70s and the late 70s, early 70s, late 70s, there's always a time where gold goes back toward its 200-day moving average. And even like during the financial crisis, when everything went crazy and we went from gold 1,000 spot to under 700 briefly. I mean, that's a 30% move downward very quickly.
Right.
And then QE starts, and then it shot back up to 1,000 not long after, very quickly. But for it to be as an excuse, right? If you have a peace deal and then you see a massive sell-off, and
Right.
that being the excuse of why that's occurring, that I could totally see that being covered.
I actually can see that in a big way. And I think maybe some people, I don't know, I'd be interested to know in the chat if people are holding some of their dry powder in relation to what's coming. Trump wants the deal badly. Putin has given suggestions that as long as he gets the regions in the east, and there's some land swapping, he's willing to. At least he says stop. Zelensky, no way. But if he comes to the table, which I think he has to, if all this happens, I can't imagine gold not dropping significantly and pulling silver along with it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. Like I said, I mean, you've been hovering above the 200-day for. Let me go back to how long. Last time it was at its 200-day was September 2023.
Okay.
5% below its 200-day moving average. That was back at $2,000 an ounce gold, right?
Wow.
So we haven't gone back and actually done a retouch of the 200-day ever since.
Wow.
Really, ever since the beginning of 2024. Really, that's
so
basically.
So if it did touch it, where would we see it at this point? Right
3,000 is roughly, the low 3,000s is where the 200-day is at. So look, first thing is first, like you'd have to break 3,050, 3,350. Then you need to see it go down below 3,300, which is technically very important. And I'm not sure that's happening. Like we'll see. I mean, we could be talking about something that doesn't happen, right? They could have a meeting and then it doesn't happen. So then it bounces from 33 goes to 3,500 and then 3,600, and you've been waiting around and you got left in the dust, and you can maybe wait till it goes to 4,000 and then does some type of pullback to the 200-day then, so that's the
danger. That's the risk. Yep.
Yeah, that's the risk of sitting on the sidelines if you have no position. If you have a position, you have the ability to kind of wait it out and wait for those opportune moments. But if you don't have a position, first thing to do is to at least start a position.
Exactly. I don't know how many people listening to this podcast don't have a position in silver or gold. That I would strongly recommend that change. Is definitely need to not wait on the sidelines. I'm trying to pull up the spot prices again, but for some reason it's hanging on it. Huh. Oh well. Joe Little, $2 super chat. Thank you. Broke my silver 1/10 ounce Una capsule. Need replacement. Ooh. Oh, 10 ounce Una and the Lion capsule got cracked. Jace. Can you help Joe Little out? What does he do? What's the best way to do?
You just got to write sales at SD Bullion on. When you have capsules like that, they're made specifically for those products, and the mint only makes them to those mintages. So if there's another capsule or not available, it's not like if you need a 1 ounce, coin capsule and everybody sells them. Those capsules are made specifically dimension-wise for those products. So you see this a lot with like the kookaburra stuff, the Perth mint stuff, where people. Or the panda, where it's like, hey, I broke this capsule and I want. It's like they only made 300,000 kooks and 300,000 capsules, and unless somebody has one laying around in the vault or one of our partners, they're kind of hard to find sometimes.
Johnny T, no, I didn't. I said thank you earlier, but I'm not sure he saw me. Thanks again for the 5 free memberships. That was really nice too. I think it was that smell in the elevator. It was me. Thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate it. All right. So where are we? Let me think. I do think it's something's going to happen. That's just my gut. But if it all falls apart, gold could just get a leg up again. Here it is. Here's the gold chart. So back in April 7th, we were right at the 3,000 mark, right? And then it broke out fast and hard. It's been up around the 33 for a while now. It's just been trading sideways mostly. But that was the big change back in April when it popped up there. So could we retest 3,000 if something wonderful comes out? Because remember, good news is the enemy of the metals, right? Usually, sometimes. What do you think?
Short term.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, I don't see how they're related. the demand for gold is, I think, mainly coming from central bank buying and other countries trying to distance themselves further away from the dollar. To me, it's not related to Russia and Ukraine. Could it be a good story that makes everybody feel good for a little bit?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, when I was in Brazil in June, and that's whenever, we did the top secret mission to go blow up, whatever we blew up overseas through the night. And it's like, everybody was worried that we were going to World War III. Gold didn't do anything, nothing. At that point, you thought you would have saw gold take off running. It didn't do anything. So I don't know where geopolitics is playing with the gold price right now. It certainly seems very much everybody wants gold because everybody, even on this shore, I think is trying to get away from the dollar. So I hear more and more people every day. I mean, we had a group of people reach out to us very recently that have a really big network of, let's say, wealthy people. And they're even, talking about gold and preservation and all these different things where it's like, wow, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
It's starting to get a little bit more mainstream.
The gold that I'm after, because I talk to you, Chase, about it sometimes, right? And it's on my desk, these gold liberties. Every time I get a price pullback, I like the lowest quality I can get because it's the lowest premium. But I love pre-33 gold, and I'm trying to build a tube of it slowly but surely here. So, and SD Bullion, you've been great helping me out there, and I just keep my eyes on the deals. In fact, can we take a quick peek at the deals here?
Sure. Let's see what's up there.
So I love going to SD Bullion and clicking deals, and I see the 1 ounce Britannias. I'm not in the market for Britannias, but if I was, and I don't care about the year, that's a great price. That's a great deal.
That's a good rate, yep.
Love that. Assorted gold coins. How do you figure out the assortment? How does Cole and his team do this? What's behind the scenes there? Can you tell us a little bit of the secret sauce with this?
It's just what comes in the door. You never know what you're going to get in the door. It's not planned. They're not back there separating. It's just, hey, we probably got a big buy of some gold coins, and they're probably just put them in that SKU and shipping them. Did you get the VIP offer today, Yankee?
I saw it. Yes, I did.
Sold out already.
It's gone?
Yeah, it's gone. Yep.
Wow.
We have some more stuff up our sleeve this week.
Wow.
So if you're on our email list, get ready. Yeah. If you're not on our email list, I'd get on our email list because the next one we're putting out super limited too, but it's going to be a really, really sweet deal.
Can you tell me what it is?
No, but it'll be gone fast. I think it'll sell out within 4 hours. So
I always ask. I ask and you never tell me. All right. Eagles 1/10. That's good. $20 off per coin. Oh, my son would love that Star Wars collection. Bars? That's neat. Uh-oh. Do I see the word commander? Oh, boy. Guys, I'm going to be opening up the Q&A. There should be an award for the first person to ask about Commander in the Q&A section. Well, I'll see. The Commander series, that's cool. If you haven't gotten in on the Commander series, you got Caesar. That's on my desk right now. I love that one. And that's pretty cool too. So you got a lot of cool stuff on here. Lots of Britannia bars. I was just in Tim's coin shop the other day, and somebody was selling their 10-ounce Britannia bar. I was like, no, don't do that. No. And he was like, this is the worst thing. I don't want to sell it. I have to. He was going through some tough times, and he was selling. He says, this is my favorite bar.
It happens. It happens, Britannia. Unfortunately.
Yep. All right. So any other products, anything that you can let us know, Chase?
Well, I'm trying to text you the next Commander right now so you can see.
For my eyes only? Or do I stick it
No, for yours only.
All right.
Yeah, Josh would kill me, I think, if we did that.
All right. Well,
yeah, you might see if you get it, see if you get the video, but it's pretty impressive. They keep getting better somehow. I don't know what they're doing over there.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we jump into our second segment, James, that was a really great podcast, by the way, with SD Bullion's founder, Tyler Wall. You nailed it. That was fascinating. Guys, if you haven't watched it, please go over to SD Bullion's YouTube site, subscribe, watch that podcast. You learn a lot. You guys had a lot of fun doing it. And make sure you subscribe and sign up for the email blasts so you know when things are coming out before anybody else does sometimes. So, yeah, good job, James.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. We've been planning to do that for a long time. It was good. We got to finally sit down and do it.
How was the drive?
Oh, that's not hard. That drive is pretty easy. Pretty straight shot, right next to Lake Erie. So it's not difficult. But the best part is probably just talking about the old days and understanding kind of thinking that Tyler has and just exchanging thoughts, because we all have our own views, and it's important to collaborate and to discuss them, because sometimes it helps open up your mind, and you have to be pliable. Nobody knows the future.
All right. Is that the last one? All right. Thule, one of my great mods. I gotta say, she said someone else asked in the chat, how much % gold and silver should be allocated in a person's 401k? Let's say if you could put physical gold and silver into a 401k, that's questionable, highly unlikely.
Yeah. Sometimes you can, but
sometimes, rarely. But with a self-directed IRA, say,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
a
I think,
401k
there's-
if Trump gets his way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're just asking their retirement, right? And I think everybody's going to have their own percentage. I know for me personally, my target's closer to 20% of.
Yeah.
My target's closer to 20% and that's grown a little bit over time.
Yep.
As I get older, and I feel more concerned about the money I've earned, and so that target continues to creep up. James, I know James probably has.
Way more than that, but the one thing,
20%.
Well,
I laugh in your general direction.
I know the last time James came to visit Texas, he gave me a pretty good bereavement about how little of platinum I had, and I think metals in general compared to my portfolio. So yeah, he was pretty stern about his advice.
Listen to James. All right.
So the one thing is just to know, like the data going back to 1968, CPM Group has done the study from 1968 to now 2025, comparing gold bullion versus the S&P 500 versus U.S. Treasuries and bonds and bills. Basically, the math, is a sharp ratio. The risk reward of it. 25% bullion throughout that entire time has basically been the best percentage. So a quarter of your liquid net worth in bullion.
Wow.
Gold specifically is what the study is, but obviously there's times where silver outperforms gold, so you kind of have to think about that depending on your age and all that. But it's much higher than the silly 5-10% thing that people throw out, which is some old diatribe that happened during the 1980 bull market, where people were buying into gold back then, and 10% allocation was what they always suggested. But that trope still gets repeated.
Well, guys, another successful Mastering Metals. Chase Turner, CEO of SD Bullion. James Anderson, Senior Market Analyst. Guys, this was a great episode. Thank you. And thank all of you for watching Mastering Metals. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Guys, do you know how many subscribers I'm almost to? 200,000.
Wow.
And when I break that, we are going to have a giga celebration like none other. It's going to be a lot of fun, giving away both silver and gold. You're going to want to be on that live stream. But you got to come back and watch us next month on Mastering Metals. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, take care.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.